Hey, what's going on everybody? Alex here with Freedom Mowers. Hope you all are doing well. We've got a pressure washer that I got from a buddy of mine who wants some help trying to get this thing running. He got this used, I think from a garage sale, and hasn't been running a couple years. He tried to throw some fresh gas in it and it wouldn't start up, so what a surprise, right? What I know about this machine so far is we've got obviously a Dewalt 3400 psi. It's got the AAA pump on it, which is rated at 3400 psi, 2.5 gallons per minute. We've got a Honda GX200 engine on here. The other day when he brought it over here, we tried a couple things right off the bat just to see if I could get it going for him, and it was a no-go. So I'll kind of show y'all what I did when he was over here. We took off the air box and put a little carb spray down in there. I was able to get it to fire off just for a second. I was wondering if there was maybe an issue with the low oil shutdown on here, so I did disconnect that at the time and tried it again, and it just wouldn't stay running. So pretty sure we've just got a fuel issue with it, but we're gonna dive into this thing and take a look. So let's pull this over to the shop. I'm not even gonna bore you guys trying to pull this thing 100 times and it not start, so let's get it over to the shop and we will get this carb off from here and take a look. All right, I'll go ahead and get the air box off from here. The air filter, that way we can get all of the housing off from here. I did look at everything the other day, and I mean, it seemed to be, I think that the pre-filter is getting a little yucky, but the air filter itself was in good shape. And by yucky, I just mean that it's starting to kind of crumble a little bit. So we've got that off. Should be, well, we'll turn the fuel off. Should be 210 millimeters, I believe. Oh, there's one more on the top. That one's the actual bolt. The other two are nuts. The crankcase breather, oh my goodness, came off with it, so that goes right here and goes into the top of your valve cover. We've got this gasket, so I'm gonna lay everything out in order as I take it off. These choke levers, they just slide right off. At this point, I'll just go ahead and start pulling this off. We'll have, let me get this off to the side. So we've got this gasket. It's probably got a pretty good seal on here. I'm sure this has probably never been taken off, so. There we go. And then I just need to take off the fuel line on here. Let me get some pliers. All right, just had to get that hose clamp. I'll probably be dumping gas everywhere here. Yep. Alright, well, I made a huge mess and spilled gas everywhere, but I just took the fuel line off. I've got it tilted back a little bit now, and I've got it clamped off, so I should just be able to pull this forward, get it to where this throttle bracket is basically parallel with that rod. That'll come right out, and then we've just got our governor spring. Take this out gently because I don't want to bend that, and that's pretty much it. Go ahead and take the choke lever off, and we've got our carburetor. So let's get this over. Let me get an area cleared and we'll take this apart, see what's on the inside. Alright, so we should have a tin. You can drain these too. A lot of times if you're going to be putting these in storage, I would suggest taking this nut out, having the fuel turned off, and then try cranking it a few times with the choke on until it just doesn't crank anymore. Also some stabilizer, but yeah, you'll just break that loose, take it out, and drain it. But this is the one on the very bottom to take the carburetor bowl loose. Right off the bat, I can see some serious crud just on the bolt. So, oh yeah, if y'all can see that or not, thing is crusty. Gonna try to keep this O-ring intact and not stretch it out. See if I can't get the needle and seat loose, or for the float. And grab a dish here, put these parts in, because I am gonna run this through the ultrasonic cleaner. And this gas stinks. And then we've got our main jet that I've got to get out from there, as well as on the top of these. This is your to set your idle on this screw, but underneath of here is a piece that we need to get to, and that's actually your idle jet. So what I like to do is just count how many turns I am out so that I can set it back to what it was. So I've got, that thing's already trying to strip. That's half. There's 1. There's 2. 7. So we're about 7 turns out on that. And then you can get a flathead and go underneath of these shoulders. I'm going to see if these pliers will get it. Let me go grab a flathead. Just kind of pry up on this a little bit gently. You don't want to damage it. Alright, well, don't do what I did and pry on that a little too hard right when I was saying don't pry on it too hard. I guess the plastics have gotten brittle, but that jet snapped right off at the top, so I had to take a screw and go down in there to extract it. But thankfully I have some other carbs here at the house, and so we'll get that cleaned. But yeah, basically it just slips down in there. There's a couple O-rings on here, but that's going to expose where the fuel goes through, and there is a very, very tiny jet opening inside of here. So the only other thing we'll do is I'll open up the shut off here. That should have a little area where fuel goes through as well, and then we can give this thing a bath in the ultrasonic cleaner. Alright, I didn't take the main jet out because it looks so gummy inside of the pickup tube that I don't even want to try yet. Probably just end up stripping it out, but throw this thing in the ultrasonic here. I just have gasoline in my Pyrex, and I'm gonna set it through a few cycles. So here we go. Alright, well, I got this stuff out. I think I went through 4 cycles on the ultrasonic cleaner on the actual carburetor, but this thing was pretty rough. The bowl you guys saw earlier, I scraped and scraped and scraped. It was like tar on here, and I had to take a wire brush to the float to kind of just get all of that yellow off from there. It was basically flaking off. I did go through with a very fine wire. It was actually off my welding brush to go through the jet that's at the end of the idle, and then I got the main jet and emulsion tube out of here after a couple cycles, and that's in the ultrasonic cleaner right now. They were gummed up, so I think we'll have a pretty good chance of getting this thing going. I've got some grease on a Q-tip, and what I like to do is on the filtration bowl here for the on-off switch, there is a O-ring, and then on the bowl itself there's an O-ring, and what I like to do is just put a thin coat of grease on the O-rings just to kind of help seal them if I'm going to be reusing them, which I am today. So let me get everything all set and we will reassemble, and hopefully we can get this thing fired up. Alright, well I did get the O-ring back in, and I've got that little bit of grease on it, so at this point we'll just put the emulsion tube back in, main jet. Alright, that's snugged up, so we are looking good there. We'll get our float back on. And that looks nice and level. I can go ahead and put this little filter cup back on. This is a 10mm. Then we've got our idle jet. So it has this little flat spot right there. You'll just put one of the flat edges up against it, press down in there. It's got O-rings on there as well. I did put a little grease on those O-rings, and then basically I'll just go ahead and screw this in 7 turns, and I'll put the float ball back on. And then you guys saw how the carb came off, so I'm not gonna bore you showing that, but as soon as I get this on, we will take it over and see if this thing will fire up. Alright, there was one other thing that I wanted to check before I got the fuel line attached to the freshly cleaned carburetor. I went ahead and purged a little bit of gas out of the tank just to check, and it looks actually pretty fresh because he said he put a full tank in here. I don't see any moisture, any debris, plus there's also a screen filter inside of that piece on the carburetor, so I do need to check and make sure. I think I dribbled a little bit of gas earlier, but I'm going to check for leaks and make sure we're good here. I also did turn the fuel on and cracked open the 10mm on the side, the drain bolt, just to verify that we've got fuel flowing, and we do. So we're going to take this thing out, hook it up to the garden hose, and see if it'll get to pressuring, because you don't want to run this without water hooked up. You'll end up burning up the pump. So we'll take this over, and I've got a wand on my other machine because he didn't give me a wand to try, but we'll hook it up and see if this thing will get going. All right, well, I've got my nice leaky hose hooked up here, and I went ahead and ran the wand for a minute just to purge any air out of the lines, because you don't want to be running this, getting surging out of it, because you got air going through the pump. But we should be good. I will go ahead and set y'all on the tripod here, because I gotta start it and hold the trigger down, because a lot of times if you try to start this and it's fighting you, it's because you're building up pressure in the pump and you need to release that pressure. So you need to hold down the wand while you're starting it. It's a little bit of a procedure, y'all see. Alright, so that's idle. We'll go like half throttle. What the hell is chokes over here? Turn the fuel on. We'll give it a sec. Turn the on switch on, that helps too. Alright, here we go. So as soon as I start it with the wand pulled, we'll turn the choke off. like a watch. That pump seems good on here. I might need a couple of, so y'all can hear me. That pump seems good on here though. Wow. Surprised that carb actually runs that well. It might even be, it's probably just a dry O-ring on that seal. And I think it's just my connection points on here. Well, that's awesome. Let's give it one more start and then I think it might call that good. Squeeze the trigger on. We'll leave the choke off this time. Give it some gas. Running like a watch. It stalled out because I let off the pressure. It's at idle. It's just the way the pumps are set up on these. You're building pressure, so it's putting too much load on the engine right there. But yeah, that's why you'll have the throttle up on it. But that runs like a champ. So we'll turn this fuel off. Oh my. Y'all hear the chicken song? As Terrell says, there's your dinner, I guess, right? But we got this pressure washer going and pump seems good, so we'll send it. Thank you guys as always checking out the channel, and I got lots of projects, so stay tuned. You know, if you guys like this kind of content, think about hitting that subscribe and the notification bell below. That way you guys get notified when I upload. And hit that thumbs up, leave me a comment. Love hearing from you guys. And on that note, let freedom ring, let those small engines sing. I'll see you all next time.